Hey guys, it's Mr. Rushing, starting our first actual virtual online learning along with the students that we have here in class. It's a little bit different. I just told them I've never taught this way before, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. But it is what it is, and we'll have to get through it. I hate the fact that you are seeing me in a mask. I will show you real quick. Actually, I won't. But we're going to get through this. We're going to get through the lessons. If you ever have any questions, you know you can get on Teams and you can send me a message. Parents can send me a message via Kinvo or via an email. So multiple ways you can contact me if you have any questions. And I'll go through some things later on with you all that are at home virtual compared to what they're going to be doing here, because they are actually here learning this and you aren't. So hopefully place value, which is where we're going to start. That place value is something that is going to be not new, but a little bit of a review for you, maybe more so that we're going to go further out on the place value chart than you'd had before. But when you get to the actual assignment, you will have a worksheet or a couple of worksheets. The first one looks like what you see up here on the board. We're going to go through a couple of these. These are what are called guided notes. Guided notes are there to help you. They are there to allow you to go back and use what they are, notes, to help you with any kind of assignment or homework that you may have. Also, it is a good way to study for a test or a quiz. You just go back and start reading through things and you have everything there in front of you. So we will go through these things together, and we'll have guided notes pretty much the entire year. If you need a binder, a 3-ring binder will be fine. If you want to use a composition notebook, you can use a composition notebook too. It doesn't really matter. The choice is completely yours. But I would keep all this stuff together in one location. Okay, so we're going to start off with place value. And our main idea, or big idea, says that place value helps you organize the value of each digit in a number. And it's very, very important. Okay, knowing place value is one of the most important things that you'll ever do in math. You may not think that it is, but truly it is. And a couple of our key vocabulary will be digits, place value, and value. So simply put, a digit is a number that we have grown up with our entire life using. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay? So digits strictly are the numbers that we have learned to use our entire life. Okay? So simply put, that's what a digit is. And a place value represents the value of a digit. So that place value is going to tell us where a specific number is going to be located in our place value chart. And it's all based on its location. Okay? It is based on the location. And if I'm guessing correctly, you'll have to forgive me because I'm so used to teaching middle school math and upper level math that I can't remember, or trying to remember, where we all left off in 4th grade. So I'm thinking that 4th grade, and any of you in here help me with this, 4th grade, how far did we go out in our place value chart? Does anybody remember? 100,000s? Okay, does that sound about right? 100,000s? Pretty close? Okay, so we're going to actually get out into the millions. You'll see here on your form that it does say billions. We're going to talk about the billions. It's not going to be tested over when we start talking about K-Prep, but I want to get you prepared for work outside of elementary school and into the middle school level, okay? So if we look here in the middle of the page, and for those of you at home, this document is online and you can find it. So if we look at our place value chart, right here in the middle, we have our ones places, we have our ones, our tens, and our hundreds. And actually, this is actually here called a period, okay? That's the ones period. But within the ones period, we have the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. We also have what's called the thousands period. Within the thousands period, we have the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. And into our new part of things, into the millions, again, this is also called a period. And within that millions period, we have the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. You'll notice that within each period, it's the same. The ones, the tens, the hundreds. What changes is the actual period itself. So ones, tens, and hundreds, and then when we jump into the thousands period, this becomes 1,000s. Then we jump to 10,000s, and then 100,000s. Okay? Further along, the new part of things, we get into the millions. This is 1 million, and we jump up to the 10 millions, and then the 100 millions. The same thing happens the further along that we go with the billions, okay? But every part is called a period. Now, if we look at our first bullet point here, it says explore the number in the place value chart above, and we're going to write it in standard form. Standard form, who can tell me what standard form is? Standard form of a number. What is it?
You expand the number with pluses?
Not standard form. You have an idea of a form, but not standard form.
A standard form is just the number.
Right, standard form is just the number that we write every single day, okay? Standard form is just the way we write it. So, you'll notice that these periods are in different colors. Now, on the document, if you print it off at home, the document will be black and white unless you use a color printer. But every period is separated by a comma, okay? Every period is separated by a comma. So if we were to write this in standard form, notice we have our commas already here, but we have our first blank, we have 8 billion, so we're going to put in an 8 right there in our first blank, 8 billion, 734 million, 240,000, and our zeros are back here in our ones. So if we look at that number in standard form, we have 8,734,240,000. And again, we're all separated here by commas. Okay? Any questions from anybody in here at this point? Okay? Anybody at home, if you have questions, you can also message me on Teams if you need to. So we went through, and the next bullet says, how do you say it? Well, the funny thing is what I always tell kids is that if you look at a number and you have it written in standard form, and then you say it out loud, okay, that's how you say it. Okay? You just read the number the way that it was. So if we go back and look at that, we started off with 8 billion, so we're going to put the number 8 right there in the first blank. So it's 8 billion. Now, we're going to write this out, and I probably should have written that part out there. So if underneath this, I'm going to write the word 8, and you can do that as well. Okay, so 8 billion, 700, so we'll write in words, 734 and that was million. Okay, so we have 8,734,000,000. Then our next line down is going to be 240,000. We have nothing past this. We don't say ones or anything because everything out here is 0. Okay? So we're only going to say or write out to where we have numbers in the last period. So that particular number, 8 billion, so 8,734,240,000. That's written in words. It's how we say it, okay? So we have standard form, which is just the number itself. We have writing it in words, okay? Because when you get a little bit older and you start writing papers, words have to be, or let me say that again, numbers have to be written out in word form when you get into the double-digit numbers. So we have to know how to write that out in words, okay? For anybody in here, any questions so far? We've all seen written in words before. We've all seen written in standard forms. We've written numbers like that for years. So standard form is normal, okay? Notice that we already talked about this, so we're going to actually, this is going to be kind of a little bit of a review from what I just said a minute ago, that each period on the place value chart is broken down into 3 values. And they're broken down into the ones, the tens, and the hundreds, okay? It's broken down into the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. So I'm going to scroll up with this. You can still follow along. I'm going to erase this so we can kind of keep this rolling. And for everybody in here, it's going to be good. When you go home, you can actually go back and watch this over again if you have questions. For those of you that are actually watching online, you can stop the video, rewind, and go back and watch something over again. It makes it nice. So again, each period is broken down into 3 values, okay? List each period on the chart above, okay? The periods that we have above, and I'll scroll back down so we can look at this. We have our periods: billions, millions, thousands, and ones, okay? So our periods that we have listed on that chart above are the billions, the millions, the thousands, and the ones, okay? Those are the 4 periods that we have shown on the place value chart. Now, there are more than those periods, but we're going to focus strictly on those. And as I said earlier on, that we're going to be going out to the millions this year. I'm going to expand that to the billions for you, just to kind of prepare you all for middle school, okay? So teaching middle school for 17 years prior to this, I know what content you all need to know. So that's what's going to kind of be nice about this, is I can help you get to where you need to be ready for middle school in 6th grade, okay? Each period is broken down into 3 different units, okay? What's 1 unit? Hundreds is 1 unit, okay? The hundreds is 1 unit. What's another unit?
Tens.
The tens. And the last of our 3 units is going to be
Ones.
the ones, exactly. So each period is broken down into 3 separate units, okay? You've got periods, and within the period, you have units within the periods. The good thing is the units are all the same, okay? It's the ones, the tens, the hundreds in every period that you come across, okay? So if you know the 3 units, you'll know them for every period. That's a bonus, okay? Are there any questions up to this point? Any questions at all up to this point? Seem kind of like a review for you? All right, good, good. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next one. We got stuff.